So in this video, I'm going to share one of the largest, most prominent wealth killers in America. This is something that can totally hinder your ability to create wealth over your lifetime. And from the outside, it may not appear as though it is, but it's something that I truly believe is something that can totally hold people back from actually creating wealth and creating a better financial future for themselves. And that's our primary goal on this channel, helping people build wealth, save money, make more money, and creating a better financial future. So if you're new here to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and let's just get started with this. Now, from the outside, as I said, it might not appear as if it's one of the largest wealth killers, but it truly is, and that is cars. Now, cars and vehicles cost so much more than they may appear. So from the outside, you look at it and you say, okay, the average car payment for a new vehicle in America is about $545 per month. Now, $545 per month may be a lot of money to some and may not be a lot of money to others. But simply put, look, this is not just the amount of money that you might be paying for it. There's other costs that are involved. And what I would argue to be one of the most important costs that you need to consider that so many people leave out is something called opportunity cost. See, the opportunity cost between putting $545 into something that totally depreciates versus taking that money and putting it into something that appreciates in value is going to make a massive difference. This can quite literally make the difference between becoming a millionaire and being broke for the rest of your life. And I'm going to explain that to you in this video, so stay tuned. Now, so one of the most important rules for building wealth is to avoid putting money into something that rusts, rots, or depreciates. Now, cars do all three. And so if you can avoid spending as much money as what the average American spends on a new vehicle per year, which is about $8,849 per year is the average cost of owning and operating a new vehicle in America. I'll leave all the different statistics down below as to where I got these different numbers from, but $8,849 for a new vehicle in the first year. That's a lot of money going into a vehicle. And it's not just that. As I mentioned, the opportunity cost behind this is so much greater. Imagine if you took this money, say you're paying $545 per month for your car payment. Say you took this money and instead of having that large of a car payment, you could shave off $300 per month off of that car payment because you use some of the different tips I'm going to show you in this video later on. And you took that money and put it into something that appreciates in value. Instead of depreciating, appreciates in value at say 7% per year. Maybe it's stocks, maybe it's real estate, maybe it's CDs. You wouldn't get 7% on CDs, but something that's appreciating in value or at least maintaining its value versus something that's depreciating. Now you run those numbers over 20 or 30 or 40 years and you could quite literally have well over $1 million just based off of the amount of money that you're saving from your car payment and putting into something that is gaining value over your lifetime. So it's very simple, but it's something that so many people aren't taking advantage of. So when breaking down the cost of actually owning and operating a vehicle, if you look at this $8,849, a large percentage of this is made up just from depreciation. About 40% is made up simply from depreciation of that vehicle. Now, when you buy a car new, instantly, as soon as you drive it off the lot, you lose about 10% of that car's value, give or take, depends on the make and model of the vehicle. But about 10% of that car's value instantly lost as soon as you drive it off of the car lot for a new car. Now, in the first 5 years of owning and operating a vehicle, so the first 5 years of that car's lifetime, it loses for 37% of its total value. So your car is worth 63% of what it once was 5 years ago. So if you run the numbers on that, you say you bought a car for $30,000, 5 years later, the car's value would be roughly about $18,900, give or take a little bit, but about $18,900. So you lost about over $11,000 in total value from your car just from owning it for 5 years. So it's something that totally is losing value every year. And this is the case for about 98% of cars. The only ones that really will possibly see appreciation are classic cars or cars that possibly have something interesting about them that are very rare and people want to collect them. But in most cases, just about all cases, cars lose value. So about $1,400 to $1,600 per year is the average cost of car insurance in America. Then we have other vehicle expenses. We have maintenance. We have new tires. You want to get something fixed on your vehicle. You want to change the fluids in your vehicle. You have to pay for registration, taxes. so many fees involved with this that can add up so quickly with a vehicle. And most people think that they need a vehicle. And I'll be honest, I have a vehicle and I think I need it myself, right? It's hard to argue that you wouldn't need a car, especially in America. We don't have as good of public transportation as some countries in Europe might have. But I want to give you some different ways that you can actually save money on this, so you can take this money and put it in something that appreciates in value instead of depreciates in value, such as vehicles. So I'm going to give you 5 different ways you can save money on this. And one of the first ones is simply by not buying new vehicles. If you're buying a new vehicle, you can run the numbers over and over and over again. And buying a new vehicle is almost always going to be worse financially for you in the long run than buying a slightly used vehicle. So once you get through those first initial few years of that hard depreciation, that double-digit percentage depreciation of that vehicle, then you would find yourself maybe possibly wanting to buy that vehicle. So anywhere between 3 and 7 years could be a prime time to actually buy a car, because it lost some of that depreciation very quickly, and now it's slowing down a little bit in terms of how fast it's actually depreciating in value. So that's one option. Now, another option is to simply do some routine maintenance on your vehicle. One of the best ways to do this is to just understand how your vehicle works. I'm still dumbfounded on the amount of people who just view a car as a magical box, and they get into it, no idea how an engine works, no idea of the concept of even combustion or anything that's going on within their vehicle, what's making the tires spin. So if you can just take some time, literally just take 30 minutes out of your day at some point in the future, watch some YouTube videos about cars, about how to change oil, about how to maintain your vehicle, about how to change a tire. And this can save you thousands of dollars over the next few years, being able to maintain some of the basic things behind your vehicle. Now, if you have a serious problem with your vehicle, you should probably take it to a mechanic. I don't want somebody trying to fix their brake lines and messing that up and hurting themselves, right? So another tip is to drive more efficiently. Now, what I mean by this is you see a lot of people who will slam on the gas, they'll go 15 feet and then slam on the brakes, and then as soon as the other car ahead of it moves just ever so slightly, they hit the gas hard, move up a little bit, and then slam on the brakes, and then just go back and forth. And this actually is not very efficient at all. So if you want to be more efficient with your vehicle, just make some smarter decisions. When you're taking turns, go slower, because you know you're gonna have to slow down for the turn. So when you're approaching the turn, you just kind of let off the gas a little bit. It's pretty easy to be efficient. You know when you're not being efficient with your vehicle and you're eating up a lot of gas in your car. But on top of that, it's going to be safer as well. Cars can be quite dangerous, so you're going to be safer by just driving smarter, and it helps the environment by saving gas. So I think it's like a triple win there by just driving slower and more efficiently as a person, as a good driver on the road. I just thought that was important to mention on there. One other thing you consider doing with a car is you want to think about the interest rate for what you might be paying for a vehicle. Now, maybe you're buying a used vehicle and you don't have enough cash to actually buy the car. So a lot of people take out a loan on this, but I would consider not taking out a loan if it's going to be something that is a high interest rate. So if you don't have a good credit score, you might end up having to pay a large interest rate for your vehicle. And me personally, I don't like to pay interest rates over 6 or 7%, because I know I can almost always get a higher return on investment by putting money in somewhere else and then paying off that interest rate in another way. So if you are faced with an interest rate of 10% for an auto loan, or over 10%, somewhere in the double digits, I would consider just trying to buy that car in cash, save up as much as you can, make it an effort to do that, because you're going to be paying interest on something that is depreciating and you're paying interest. It's a double whammy, not a good look, definitely not something you want to get caught up in, and a lot of people do. So consider buying that car in cash. Unless you're faced with something like a 3 or a 4% interest rate, you have a tremendous credit score, you're doing very well, and they give you a great deal on it, then you could actually consider taking advantage of that instead of paying those high interest rates. So that's one. And then the final one, and people might get mad at this, but I want you to just think about it for a little bit. Look, I know that I personally have a car and I feel as though I always need a car, but I've met some people who have gotten rid of their vehicles, and they've had so much more money coming in that they now have to expend to other things, and a lot of them will put it into investments. And this is so smart to do this. But I want you to, after this video, think about how often you use your car. And a lot of people say, no, I can't get rid of my car because I have to drive to work, or I have to go grocery shopping, or I have to pick up my kids from soccer practice. So there's a lot of reasons as to why you may need a vehicle. But I also see families with 3 vehicles or 4 vehicles, and if you need all of those those vehicles? I'm not quite sure, and you want to ask yourself that as well. So do really an audit of your current car situation and how often you're using them. I was talking to this woman out in California a few weeks ago, and she was telling me how she totally got rid of her car, where she thought that she needed it. And this is actually kind of the basis of this video. This is why I created this video, because of this conversation I had with her. But she said, you know what, there were so many things in my life where I thought I just needed this car. I thought that I had to go grocery shopping. And she said her solution, she just orders food online from Amazon now. So there's a lot of different things you can do behind that. Or you think, oh, maybe I have to drive to the airport. I have to go fly somewhere. So how else am I going to get to the airport? I'm 20 miles away. So she takes an Uber. Right? So it can end up saving you a lot of money. That $545 per month for a new car payment plus all those other fees can literally be close to $1,000 per month almost, about $600 or $700 per month in total. Well, what if you took a few Ubers per month? It's still going to be cheaper by doing that. So do an audit of yourself, figure out whether or not you actually need all of your vehicles and how often you're using them. And if you're not using them of $500 worth of value or more, then consider getting rid of it. It's a tough decision. It's something you have to make on your own. And it's something that, I don't know, I think that maybe you should just consider it. But that's why we create these videos. We try to help people just think a little bit deeper about the financial decisions that they may be making in their life, because I would love to see people retire earlier and create a better financial future for themselves. So if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everybody next time.